result of the injuries to the lungs and the liver with the hemorrhage and the injury to the organs themselves.
The doctor's testimony came with graphic pictures, especially of the gunshot wounds to the head and back of Rosenbaum. All the while, Rittenhouse appeared to be visibly shaken, at times averting his eyes, similar to what many jurors were doing as well. Prosecutors focused on when Rittenhouse fired the 4 gunshots at Rosenbaum and from what position.
The first gunshots are while Mr. Rosenbaum is facing Mr. Rittenhouse?
Yes.
And you said that at least one of those was intermediate out to 4 feet away?
Yes.
Then came the graze wound to the head and the shot to the back.
And is it your opinion, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, that the back to front shots to the head and then the kill shot to the back would have been while he was falling or perpendicular to the ground?
The only way that the trajectories of the gunshot wounds to the right side of the head and the back make sense is if he's more horizontal to the ground, and that is occurring at the time that the last 2 gunshot wounds are heard on the video.
The defense wanted to underscore how fast this deadly interaction occurred.
The 4th shot is 76 hundredths of a second after that. That is how fast the 4 shots were fired out of my client's gun. And he goes from the furthest 4 feet to touching the gun, correct?
Yes.
So if I was charging like a bull and diving, that would be consistent.
It would be.
At one point, the rifle used by Rittenhouse that day was displayed in court to give jurors a better idea of the positioning of the rifle as this unfolded. But prosecutors went back to the first 2 shots, implying any diving or falling motion from the first shot to the thigh up through the hip wasn't voluntary.
The injuries you noted, they'd also be consistent with falling after being struck in the hip?
Yes.
Now, that doctor was the last of the 22 total witnesses called by the prosecution. Right as they were resting their case, though, the judge dismissed charge number 7 against Kyle Rittenhouse. That is a curfew citation charge. He still faces 5 felonies for including homicide and reckless endangerment, along with the misdemeanor of being underage with a weapon. He's pleaded not guilty to all of those. But now we are headed into day 7 of testimony in this trial, day 2 for the defense. After the defense finishes at some point, it will then be left with the jury more than a year after these shootings first took place here in Kenosha. Wolf.
All right, Omar, thank you very much. Omar Jimenez reporting on this trial. Let's get some more. Right now, joining us, CNN senior legal analyst Laura Coates and CNN legal analyst Paul Callan. Now, Laura, the prosecution has now rested its case. Did they do what they needed to do to get a guilty verdict?
Well, you know, it's a great question, because at times you had some of the prosecution's witness that was actually helping the burden of proof to be established, that this was somebody who was engaged in criminal behavior, not acting in self-defense. Then you also had some of those same government witnesses who were providing information that could lead a juror to potentially say that this person, the defendant, was acting with the perception that he would kill or be killed. And so you've got this sort of conflict happening overall. But overall, the prosecution, through all of their witnesses, established that there was evidence that Kyle Rittenhouse acted in a manner by virtue of being there, protecting property. Of course, the idea of trying to protect property that is not a threat to you in some way. You don't get to just protect property and kill people. You can't engage in that sort of behavior. The idea of whether it was reasonable for him to perceive that it was kill or be killed. They've made a strong case about that very issue. But there's still the notion that you had at least the surviving victim who was shot but did not die say that he had a gun, he was in fact armed, but he believes that the defendant did not accept his surrender. That's going to be a point of contention that the defense will likely exploit in their case.
There apparently, Paul, were some times when it seemed like witnesses for the prosecution actually made statements that could be helpful to the defense. Did they unintentionally make the defense's job at least a bit easier?
Yes, I think they did, Wolf. And I have to say that's not unusual in cases like this where self-defense is the big issue. And remember, they called 22 witnesses. And human beings see things in slightly different ways. And prosecutors will say to the jury later on that this is an indication that they were telling the truth, that there were some inconsistencies that helped the defendant. But when I look at the fact pattern, I'm thinking back to when I was trying one of my first self-defense cases as a young prosecutor in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, and it was a murder case involving somebody who used a gun to kill somebody else. And an older prosecutor said to me, hey, the street rule says you don't bring a gun to a knife fight. Well, in this case, Kyle Rittenhouse brought an AR-15 assault rifle, and one of his victims was armed with a skateboard. So I can tell you, you don't bring an AR-15 to a skateboard fight. And I think in the end, the jury's going to look at that, and they're going to look at a second thing also. What's he doing here in Kenosha, Wisconsin? He's from Illinois, and he comes across here, and he's looking for trouble, I think. And I think the jury's going to get a sense of that a lot of these people would still be alive today if he had remained in Illinois and let law enforcement people handle the situation. So in the end, I think we're probably going to see a mixed bag here in terms of convictions, but I think you'll see a conviction.
Laura, should Rittenhouse take this stand?
I think it's really incumbent upon him to do so, because he's going to be in a position to talk about and really be able to convey to a jury if there in fact was a reason he could feel threatened. Now, of course, it's always very dangerous to have a defendant take the stand. They are unpredictable, and a very successful cross could completely unpack any of his defenses in a way that he could not recover from. So it's going to be a tactical decision tonight, but I do expect him to testify in this trial.
We shall see. All right, Laura Coates, Paul Callan, guys, thank you very much. Just ahead, Aaron Rodgers gives a half-hearted explanation for his misleading comments about refusing the COVID vaccine, but he still won't apologize or correct the record. Stand by.
It's beautiful. Let's bake. 3 cups of harina. What's this last one mean? An empty stomach. Your abuela always say that when she was cooking. Yeah.
Give more than a gift. Etsy.
What's my safe flight story? My truck is my livelihood. So when my windshield cracked, the experts at Safe Flight Auto Glass came right to me with service I could trust. Right, girl?
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
Still looking for that money in your home, Daryl? Yeah, this puppy should finally do the trick.
Well, good luck. We found ours yesterday.
Let me guess, in the attic.
With Rocket Mortgage. We used our home's equity and turned it into cash.
Equity? Yeah, you can do it on your phone.
Check your phone before you wreck your home, Daryl.
That's easy.
When you want to find money in your home, Rocket can.
Oh, that's all good, Daryl. I got a guy.
Rocket.
It's hard to believe that Mint Mobile can be good at just $15 a month. So, as Mint's new owner, I brought in one of our first and oldest customers, Wasim McNaby.
Welcome to Mint, Ryan.
So you've had Mint for years. Any issues?
No, the service has been great.
And under my ownership, it's going to get even better.
How?
No idea.
Still $15 a month though, right?
Yep.
How about Taco Wednesday? Nobody's done that before.
Dignity. It demands that you can do simple things with ease while managing chronic pain. It demands a better understanding of your glucose levels so you can enjoy movie night, and that your heart stays connected to your doctor so you know it's beating as it should. At Abbott, we fight for these moments, developing life-changing technologies because dignity demands it.
I've been with Facebook for almost 3 years now. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I'm on the Facebook content team.
You have a lot of topics that you cover, a wide range. What would you say is the most challenging about your job?
It's tough. We make a lot of difficult decisions. We work in the spectrum of freedom of expression versus content moderation and constantly trying to figure out where on that spectrum we should land. I don't know if that is right to have a private corporation like Facebook dictating what those boundaries are. And I think that with the right adjustments made to Section 230 and improved regulation, Facebook and the broader industry can receive better guidance in where on that spectrum we should be.
Pain hits fast, so get relief fast. Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser-drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. And now, get relief without a pill with Tylenol Dissolve Packs. Relief without the water.
When my teeth started to deteriorate, I stopped hanging out socially. It was an easy decision. Clear choice.
The health of our teeth plays a significant role in our overall health. Chantal was suffering, and we had to put an end to that. The absolute best way to do that was through dental implants.
Clear Choice dental implants changed everything. My digestive health is much better now. I feel more energetic. The person that I've always been has shown up to the party again.
PNC Bank believes that if your phone can help you track your pizza, then your bank should help you track your spending. Virtual wallet with low cash mode from PNC Bank. One way we're making a difference.
Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is changing his tone after brazenly misleading people about his COVID vaccination status. Rodgers returned to the radio show where his comments the other day sparked a firestorm to claim he now takes responsibility for his words while standing by his decision to not get vaccinated.
You know, I made some comments that people might have felt were misleading. And, you know, to anybody who felt misled by those comments, I take full responsibility for those comments. I'm an athlete. I'm not an activist. So I'm going to get back to doing what I do best. And that's playing ball. Like, I shared my opinion. It wasn't one that was come to frivolously. It involved a lot of study and what I felt like was in my best interest for my body.
Let's bring in our chief medical analyst, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Sanjay is also out with a very important new book. Show the book cover, World War C, Lessons from the COVID-19 Pandemic and How